Hello, Sweet Springs Baptist Church and Brother Logan and all the folks. Sister Becky Butler at Oakcrest Baptist Church wanted me to put together some kind of little video to update you on the trip here to the Philippines. Brother Jay Smith, the pastor, and I flew out of Memphis on Monday morning, February 3rd at 6 o'clock in the morning. Flew to Chicago O'Hare, had a 4-hour layover, and then flew to Seoul, Korea. We were in there about 14 hours, longest flight I've ever taken. And then had a layover in Seoul, and then flew into Clark Field in the Philippines. Brother Jay Smith flew first class, so that even though I flew coach, they let me in the lounge with him, and so in the layovers I was in the business lounge, the first class lounge, and we got into Clark Field about 11:55 p.m. on Tuesday evening, Filipino time, and Brother Noel Maniquil and Melvin and several others were there to pick us up. Took us to Noel's place, and we talked with them for a while, and then laid down for a couple hours, and we went out Wednesday morning to a groundbreaking ceremony where we had a tent meeting last March. There was, I think you've got pictures on that already, but after that groundbreaking little ceremony, we came back to Noel's place, and Ramon Torres picked us up that afternoon and showed us about 4 of the churches where he's working. He's got men in those churches working, some of them up in the mountains. And then we had services Wednesday evening in his church in Bamban. That's how we would pronounce it, but it's Bambang here, Philippines, and had a good crowd, had a good response. I think there was about 10 saved in that service. And then Thursday, we went in to find some things that we needed to help with the recording and stuff. And then Thursday evening, I preached at the Isle of Patmos Baptist Bible College here in Tarlac City. It's associated with the Asian Mission Board there out of Marietta, Ohio. And Steve Arcega, Ray knows Steve Arcega, is over that college, but I preached there in Thursday evening, and had a good service, good response, and I went back 5 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, and preached again and again, a real good response. And then Friday evening, we were in Compass at Noel Maniquil's church, and there were some saved there. I don't remember the exact number that were saved in that service. And Saturday morning, we were with Steve Arcega at his church in Mancado, Philippines. And it was a baptismal service, but I preached, and then Brother Jay Smith preached, and then we had the baptismal service. And I think there was 12 people that were baptized in the service. And in that service, there was another 4 or 5 that gotten saved that morning in the service. And then Saturday evening, we went to church out in the cornfields here in the Philippines. I can't even remember where it was. It's one of the mission works that Steve Arcega is starting. And the pastor's name is Robert, Brother Robert's all I can remember. But they've just got a shell of the building erected, and it was packed out, and had a good service, had some folks saved in that service as well. It's only been maybe one service where in a church where nobody got saved. I mean, God's blessed in every service with at least one being saved every service. And then we went back to Compass and stayed at Noel Maniquin's Saturday night. And Sunday morning early, we went down toward Manila and Caloocan, south side of Manila, with Eris DePano, and had a good service with him. I think there was 4 saved in that service that morning. And then we were with Brother Abner Kanda. And Ray should remember Abner. He was with Steve Arcega when they were there at Ardmore at Sweet Springs. They stayed in the parsonage and went out in the Christmas parade to Huntsville and to Ardmore or wherever it was. And but he's just a little fella, Abner. But we were with him and had a couple saved in that service. And then Monday we traveled to Velasco with Leonardo Malari here. Monday was just a travel day. Tuesday we went out to about an hour and a half away to a preacher's fellowship. It was preachers and their wives, and there's about 60 preachers and their wives gathered together. And I preached that morning, and they said I was a great help to the pastors. And then they're meeting in a rented building, and they've got property, and we went out on the property and prayed over the property. And then we went back to where they're meeting, and Brother Jay preached that afternoon. Then we came back and rested for a little bit and had services Tuesday night in Brother Leonardo's church. And there was some of his mission works here, as well as a couple of neighboring cities. Brought their churches, had a good crowd, had good service. There's a young man named Brother Amiel that is recording this, and he's going to try and put some pictures in with it so you can get an idea of what's taking place. This is Wednesday afternoon here in the Philippines. I'm going to be preaching in another town tonight. Brother Jay Smith will be preaching here in Brother Leonardo's church, and then tomorrow we'll both preach again here at Brother Leonardo's before we go about 2 hours away to a fellow named Benjamin Santiago. We'll be with him all day, morning, afternoon, and then I think there's something going on that evening too. I don't know if it's at his church or another church. But anyway, I'm going to stay up there for the next 5 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I'll be in a couple of different churches Saturday, at least 2 churches on Sunday. Monday, I'm going to preach at the police station there in that area. And they said I may even meet the governor of that province. And then after that, I'll be in another church that evening. I don't know what Tuesday is. They haven't told me, but I was only going to be there through Monday afternoon, and it got extended. I'm going to be there longer, and then they're going to bring me back here Wednesday to Brother Leonardo's. And then Thursday, I'll go back to Compass to Brother Noel's, and then I'll be flying out after that early Friday morning at 12:55 in the morning. The flight leaves to come back home to Ardmore, and by way of Seoul, Korea, and Chicago, O'Hare, Memphis, and then back home. So it's been a busy time. It's been a good time. We've seen God do much. We've seen many mission works, and there is a great need here in the Philippines. And these fellows that I've been with are really coordinating where they're sending out young men and starting works out of their church. It's encouraging to see how they're operating and how they're trying to help support these men and the mission endeavors. Brother Leonardo here that we're with right now would like me to stay longer. Jay Smith has offered to extend my ticket, but I think I'll be ready to come home. I know Barbara's ready for me to come home, but they want me to come back next February and stay the whole month. In fact, Brother Leonardo would like for me to stay a couple of months. There's so many yet to visit, and he says there's no evangelists over here, and he said I've been a help to every pastor that I've been to. I give God the glory, give him the credit for it. Brother Jay and I have worked well in the meetings we've been in together, and we've been separated some, but I think there's 19 or 20 that have been saved between where he's preached and I preached, which is good. I appreciate the church backing me and the help that they've been. Appreciate Old Crest and the help that they've been as well. And I'm excited about what God's doing. Appreciate everybody watching over Barbara, for Ray and Tanya being so kind to her, and everybody else that's offered help. I appreciate it greatly. I'll be back home on the last Sunday there in February, and I actually get in on Friday evening back home, but I'll be at church that last Sunday in February, and hope to be able to maybe update you a little bit more then. Keep praying for us. We need much prayer. It's good. It's tiring. There's a lot of traveling. A lot of these places we go to, it's not roads like in the U.S., and but it's well worth it once we get there and have the service and see what God does and how He blesses. We appreciate again all your help. Looking forward to coming home, and just keep praying for us. Thank you. I hope this will update you a little bit anyway.